emerges when the mind stops rushing. Let that idea arrive without turning it into a task. You are not being asked to slow the mind, to manage it, or to push it into quiet. You are being invited to notice what happens when effort softens. Many people approach the mind as something that must be controlled, disciplined, silenced. That approach itself creates tension. It turns awareness into another job. Today is different. Today is about allowing the mind to slow naturally, the way muddy water clears when it is left alone. Non-striving is not passivity. It is intelligence. It is the recognition that some systems respond best when interference stops. The mind is one of those systems. As you listen, notice how the mind may want to do something with these words. Understand them quickly, apply them, get them right. That impulse to rush is familiar. It is the same impulse that drives overthinking, planning, rehearsing, optimizing. It believes speed equals safety. Yet clarity does not come from speed. It comes from presence. Presence has no urgency. It does not rush because it is already here. When the mind races, it is usually chasing an imagined future or trying to fix an imagined past. Neither requires immediate action in this moment. Slowing the mind does not mean stopping thought. It means removing the pressure to arrive somewhere else. When that pressure eases, thought reorganizes on its own. You may notice that the very act of trying to calm the mind creates agitation. That is because the mind interprets control as threat. It hears, something is wrong, you must change. Non-striving sends a different message. It says, nothing needs to be fixed right now. That message is deeply regulating to the nervous system. When the body senses safety, the mind follows. You might begin by noticing the rhythm of your breathing, not to change it, not to deepen it, just to notice that it is already happening. Breath does not rush unless the mind tells it to. When attention rests on breath without instruction, breath often lengthens naturally. This is not a technique. It is a response. In the same way, when attention rests on thought without judgment, thought begins to slow. Not because it is ordered to, but because the fuel of urgency is removed. Kabat-Zinn speaks of non-doing, of allowing experience to unfold without interference. This does not mean disengaging from life. It means engaging without force. Right now, your only role is to notice what is here. Sounds, sensations, thoughts moving through. You do not need to follow any of them. You do not need to push any of them away. Rushing happens when the mind believes there is a problem that must be solved immediately. Slowing happens when the mind realizes that this moment is sufficient. That realization cannot be forced. It arrives when striving ends. You may notice the mind commenting, "Am I doing this right? Is this working? Why am I still thinking?" Those comments are not failures. They are signs of habit, the habit of evaluation, the habit of progress checking. Non-striving includes allowing those habits to appear without engaging them. You do not need to answer the mind. You can let it speak without responding. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the absence of compulsion. When compulsion softens, space opens. In that space, clarity begins to emerge. Clarity is not a thought. It is a quality of perception. It feels like steadiness, like seeing without squinting, like like listening without leaning forward. The mind slows when it is no longer being chased or restrained. Imagine holding something fragile in your hands. Gripping too tightly breaks it. Holding too loosely drops it. The mind responds to the same balance. Gentle attention. No force. No neglect. Just presence. As this balance stabilizes, you may notice that thoughts become more spaced out, less tangled. Or you may notice that they continue at the same pace, but bother you less. Both are signs of slowing. Slowing is not measured by quantity of thought, but by your relationship to it. When the mind is rushing, each thought feels urgent, demanding action or resolution. When the mind slows, thoughts can arise without pulling you with them. They lose their momentum. This does not happen because you push back. It happens because you stop pushing forward. Much of mental agitation comes from leaning into the future, trying to arrive at calm. Calm is not a destination. It is what remains when the chase stops. You are allowed to rest here, even if the mind is active. Rest does not require silence. It requires permission. Permission to let this moment be enough. As you allow that permission, notice how the body responds. Perhaps the shoulders drop slightly. Perhaps the jaw softens. Perhaps there is a subtle warmth or heaviness. These are signs of downshifting. The nervous system recognizes non-striving as safety. Safety invites coherence. Coherence invites clarity. You do not need to remember this sequence. It unfolds naturally. Your only involvement is to not interfere. When the mind speeds up again, as it will, you can recognize the speed without trying to slow it. Recognition is enough. Speed observed is already less dominant than speed unnoticed. Each time you notice rushing without judgment, you interrupt the loop of effort. You are teaching the mind a new way of being, not through instruction, but through example. Awareness models calm. Over time, the mind learns. This learning is implicit. It does not require repetition of phrases or techniques. It requires consistency of presence. You may notice moments where the mind pauses on its own brief gaps where nothing is being thought. These gaps are not created. They appear when striving loosens. When they appear, you do not need to hold them. Trying to hold them creates striving again. Let them come and go like everything else. Clarity does not disappear when thought returns. Clarity is the ability to see thought clearly, whether it is present or absent. This is an important distinction. Many people believe calm equals blankness. That belief creates frustration. The mind resists being blank. It is designed to think. When you stop demanding blankness, the mind stops resisting. Resistance is exhausting. Non-striving is efficient. As this understanding settles, you may feel less need to manage your internal experience, less need to intervene. That is the slowing. It is a reduction of interference. You are not stepping away from life. You are stepping into it more fully, without the filter of urgency. Each sound is clearer. Each sensation is more defined. Each thought is less heavy. This is clarity. It is simple. It is quiet, even when there is noise. You may carry this sense with you beyond this session, or you may forget it and remember again later. Both are fine. Non-striving includes non-attachment to outcomes. You do not need to maintain this state. It will return when needed. The more you trust that, the less the mind rushes to hold on. As this day unfolds, you may notice moments where you pause naturally, moments where you do not fill space immediately, moments where you respond instead of react. These moments are signs that the mind is learning to slow without force. You do not need to congratulate yourself. You do not need to track progress. Tracking creates striving. Simply notice. Notice when there is ease. Notice when there is tension. Both are teachers. Both are allowed. Clarity emerges not because you chase it, but because you stop running past it. And right now, without effort, without control, without suppression, you are already here.